Hello for B. I am so sorry I cannot be here today, and I kind of forgot last week that I was going to be here. So, please welcome our guest teacher. I hope you have been so over the top, insanely nice to my friend. Please note if there are any bad notes left behind in regards to your behavior, you will immediately be written up whenever I return on Thursday. All right. I'm also letting you know that it is after 7 o'clock here on Monday, and I'm very tired. So please excuse me if I make any mistakes as we work through the notes. Feel free to pause the note video as needed if you need to write down the work that I'm writing on the board. And once more, please, I can't wait to come back to a very good note from Miss Gibbs saying that y'all were over the top, insanely nice, and very, very respectful for her. All right, so here we go. You have your note sheet. What we should know, I need you to write this down for x and y intercepts. They're flipped on your notes, so be careful. Make sure you write x-intercept. So your x-intercept is where your function crosses the x-axis, and it's where the value of y is equal to 0. So it's always going to be a point like this. Some number x and then y is 0, and then for your y-intercept it's where your function crosses the y-axis, or where the x value is equal to 0. So it's always going to be 0 then some number y. Alright, please make note too that we always list these things as coordinate points. I think you have a graph maybe there. So for example, maybe I have some line like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe this is at 1, 2, 3. Alright, so this would be my y-intercept, and my x-intercept, it's literally where it hits the y and x-axis, so this one would be the point 0, 3, and this would be the point 4, 0. Alright, so they will always have a 0 involved. It's important to know who is who. Okay, here on number 1, it says to find the x and y intercepts for each of the following, then graph. So there's lots of ways to do this. One, it's pretty easy whenever this is in our slope-intercept form, right? Because this is y equals mx plus b, where b is representing our y-intercept. So right off the bat, I can write down my y-int is 0, negative 2. All right, now in order to find my x-intercept, I have to plug in 0 for the y value. Now another option, okay, it says to find them and then graph. All right, so for the x-intercept, all right, I'm going to replace my y with a 0 and solve for the x. All right, so I'm going to have 0 equals 4x minus 2. I'm going to add 2 to the opposite side. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So I get x is equal to 1/2, all right, because 2 over 4 would simplify to 1/2. Again, pause the note video as you need to write down this stuff. So now I'm going to go ahead and plot those 2 points. This one would be at the point 1/2, 0. So 1/2, 0, here would be my x-intercept. And up here, 0, negative 2, down here actually would be my y-intercept. And then you could draw in your line. Now let's just see if this thing checks out. Would this make sense to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. All right, and you can see that our x-intercept would kind of fit into there, into that line that we have going. So yes, he is a point on this graph. Alrighty. So there's one way of plugging in your x and y intercepts, plotting them, and graphing your line. Alright, sometimes they give it to us like this in what we call standard form. Now, I love working in standard form because I think it's easier. Alright, so let's say I'm working to find my, let's say I find my y-intercept first. Now, actually, fun fact, you don't have to convert this into slope-intercept form first. So remember that your y-intercept is where the value of x is 0, and then we find some number for y. So what I want you to do is almost imagine if you plugged in 0 for x. Well, what's 5 times 0? 0, right? So this essentially just goes away. So you can pretty much just like what I'll usually do is cover it up with my hand, and I'm left with 6y equals 48. All right, but I don't want to have that scribbled up there the whole time. All right, so it's kind of like this. So y'all understand where the 5x is going to disappear. I'm left with 6y equals 48. Divide both sides by 6, and we get y equals 8. All right, so my y-intercept would be at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and then same game for the x-intercept. All right, now this is whenever the y value is 0, and I'm going to find some x number for the x. All right, so same thing. Imagine if I plugged in y or 0 for y. Well, pretty much this would go away. All right. Again, I don't want to keep it like that, but y'all can do that on your own paper. So I would be left with 5x equals 48. And now I would divide both sides by 5. And that's going to be x equals 48 fifths. All right. Squeeze that in there. All right. To be honest, I'm not really sure where 48 fifths is. Let's see. That would be like 9-ish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little over there. All right. A little bit past 9. I think. Sorry again. I'm exhausted right now. All right. And then you would draw in your handy dandy line there. All right. Cool beans. On to the next. All right, solve each of the following in the slope-intercept form. All right, I'm going to do number 3. Y'all are going to do number 4. But basically, it means to solve for, oh, crud. All right, sorry about that. Had to wait a few moments for my board to stop lagging. Y'all know how I feel about that. All right, so to solve for y, get your x to the other side. All right, so I'm left with 5y equals a negative 3x and a positive 15. And then we're going to reduce everything by 5. All right, so y equals negative 3x over 5 plus 3. All right, so my slope in this case would be negative 3 fifths, and my y-intercept would be at 0, 3. Okay, real quick, I'll work through this one, but again, get that x to the other side. We would have negative 17y equals a negative 2x minus 51. And then you would divide everything by negative 17 and simplify as needed. All right, this would be y equals positive 2 over 17, right? Because a negative divided by negative is a positive. And as a, let's see, 3, I think that's 3. That would become a positive 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. So sorry, I'm trying to do math in my head. And I'm what? All right, next example. All right, 5 and 6. Now these are the reverse. They want us to go, oh, I meant to, okay, y'all wrote it down. Y equals mx plus b, okay? That's your slope-intercept form, solving for y. Now this one is wanting us to put it into standard form. So standard form, we've talked about it. It's ax plus by equals c. Now you might want to pause the video and write this down up here. All right, where a is something greater than 0, meaning it can't be negative. All right, so let's play with these things. Got to get it into standard form. So that means I need x and y to be on the same side. So a couple options here. I guess let's just play. There's lots of different ways to do these guys, and y'all are all going to come up with different ways. So let's say I subtract these over here to the other side. I have negative 2x plus y equals negative 4. All right, now the issue is I can't have my a, that leading x value, be negative. All right, so what you can do is multiply this entire thing by negative 1. That will make it positive, negative, and positive. Okay, so all it does is reverse the signs of everything. And so now this is official. He is now in standard form. Okay, so basically the game is to get x and y on the same side, x first, where x is not negative. All right, now there's other ways of doing this. Maybe you see it, maybe you're like me. I can look at this and think, okay, let me save myself some trouble. And what if I get this 50 to this side and this y to this side? And I just kind of flip-flop their spots. All right, you can totally do that, and that'll keep my x value positive. So let's say I have 10x. I subtracted that y to the opposite side, and I subtracted that 50 to the opposite side too. All right, again, you could have gone down this longer route like we did over here. All right, subtract the 10x, and then you'll have a negative 10x, and then multiply everything by negative 1. So whatever is going to make most sense to you. As long as this leading x is positive, you're good to go. All right, they get a little nastier, obviously, with our fractions. And again, is a fraction greater than 0? Yeah, so that's cool. So, all right, so I'm going to get this guy over to the opposite side by subtracting him. All right, so I'm going to have negative 1/2 x plus y equals 3/4. And now, honestly, I feel like where a is an integer greater than 0. All right, a is an integer. So that means we can't have these things as fractions. All right, so I'm going to get rid of my fraction. Y'all know how to do this. All right, something that's going to divide by 2 and 4. And at the same time, it's negative, so I'm going to get rid of the negative sign. So I'm going to multiply everything here by negative 4. All right, negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2x. Negative 4 times y would become negative 4y. And negative 4 times 3 would be negative 12. And negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. All right, cool beans. I got rid of my fractions because, again, it says it has to be an integer greater than 0. Integer meaning a whole number. And in this case, it has to be also positive. All right, cool. All right, next one, kind of the same thing. I can start with that negative 5/6x by subtracting him to the opposite side. Then I have that positive y equals 2. All right, and now I need to get rid of this fraction and get rid of that negative. So I'm going to multiply everything here by negative 6. All right, and that's going to get rid of that denominator of 6. So negative 6 times negative 5 is 30. 30 divided by 6 is 5x. Negative 6 times y is negative 6y. And then negative 6 times 2 would be negative 12. All right, and that's looking pretty good. All right, I think that might be it. Sorry I had to go through this stuff really fast. Sorry, here's my message to you. But I love y'all very much. And I hope that y'all are being very good again for our sub. Make sure that you hang on to everything today. Don't turn anything into the sub. Not because she's not responsible, but because I know y'all have questions over your homework from last class, and I know you're going to have lots of questions over this assignment too. So good luck. You're going to have to show Miss Gibbs your note sheet that you just took really great notes on. So make sure you take some good notes on there. You show her your completed note sheet. Then you can exchange, or you can keep your notes, and then you can get the practice assignment. So start working on your practice assignment. Get it knocked out. Put circles around any questions that you have or any problems that you have questions on, and we'll go over those at the beginning of class on Thursday. All right. Sorry I keep rambling. I am so sleepy. I'm going to try to leave here very soon. I love y'all, and happy Tuesday, and happy HOCO! That's short for homecoming, in case you were wondering.